She's a snake crawling, creeping on the floor. If you give a time of day, baby, that's your first mistake. She will swallow you whole, for you know in your control by a sweetheart criminal. Never thought that she's a itty bitty spider with an itty bitty lighter. You should always sleep with one eye open. You better keep in mind to always look over your shoulder.
Good morning, and what's going on? Welcome to another Subie Shaves video with me on a beautiful morning. Hashtag Team Allblade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a Subie smile, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking in today's video, and for joining me. Hopefully wherever you're watching from, you got something cold in your head, you're sitting in a comfy chair, and you're ready for another Subie spooky shave. I'm thrilled to have you here. It's gonna be an awesome shave. I've got just over 3 days of growth, and we're gonna be knocking it down, talking about the Valet VC2 razor. This is a razor produced in 1927 to 1937, somewhere roughly in that era. It's a beautiful razor, and I've had a lot of people reach out just recently and say, how does this razor work and fill with the brand new high carbon blades from OneBlade Shave? These just barely released on OneBlade Shave's website, and keep in mind these were specifically designed and engineered for their the pivoting dynamic razor. But I've had a lot of people say, well, Subie, can we make them work? And I can say today it shaves really good, at least based on the face shave, with these blades installed. I had a little bit of a difficulty making them work, so this is kind of a Subie hack methodology, right? For all the purists out there that are watching, I just want to mention this and call it out straight up. First and foremost, don't get your torches out. I just want to be honest and upfront here. It does take a razor that's had a little bit of work done to it in order to incorporate and use the brand new OneBlade razor blades, but it may be worth it based on the new cost. They're cheaper blades, right? When you compare them to the Feather platinum coated FHS blades, they're a smoother blade for me, they're less money, and they're going to last a little longer, at least based on how their performance has been for me thus far. Again, this is going to take a little bit of work, and I'm going to show you how I do it today on the Subie Hack Cam, and we're going to do it for a dome shave, and we're just a little shave and chat here. I'm thrilled to have you here for it. It should be awesome. Again, another Subie hack shave that I'm really excited to be demonstrating and showcasing and doing with you on channel. It should be awesome. We're also going to be using, kind of as a side note, I just want to talk about Blue Samhain. This did not just barely release. This has been out for a while, but it is probably my singular most favorite shave soap scent for this time of year. I have the full entire, it's not even a trifecta. We even got the solid clone in this. You can buy it in the cube. I used to use the cube that way, but I ended up killing the cube and I didn't order more. But I did order the standard cube. It was one or the other. I had to choose between the two cubes they have. But I love this scent. It's beautiful. And for me, it says a lot when you run out of a soap, right? If I have so many soaps and I actually kill a tub, it says a lot about that scent. And this is one that I've gone through 2 tubs of it. It's a burnt sugar, bourbon, pumpkin, sandalwood, and then oak barrel. The oak and the sandalwood for me are almost non-existent. I want to call that out. For me, it is a pumpkin with a lot of sugar, right? It's very sweet. My wife says it smells like maple syrup a little bit. I think it kind of smells like waffles, but we both agree it smells like Sunday brunch. I absolutely love this. Again, this is a Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement scent that's been released this year. I did get it in the foil, right? It was one of the ones I chased because I absolutely love the label and I love the scent behind it. It's really nice and it's very, very unique. I haven't smelled anything quite like this. Doesn't smell like a pumpkin latte or any of that nonsense you're going to Starbucks for. This is a little bit different. It's I would say a little more boozy. To be really honest with you, that boozy tone in it is really nice. That bourbon tone is absolutely present and it makes it, a standout for me this time of year. Awesome scent. The Lather today, as usual, PAA CK6 always dominates and really is easy to use. Take a look here. That's after the face shave and after we've got it whipped up on the dome. Take a look. You can see it's rich, it's runny, it's dense. It is really, really hydrated, and I love the way it smells. Oh, it's really good. The performance on this stuff is phenomenal. Top notch, if you ask me. Oh, look at this stuff. It goes for days. And we did that with the Skelly King brush. This brush right here was produced by Opus this year. And I am going to be watching out for him from now on. Really, really cool turn on a brush that is very unique. And the Badger knot that he recommends is phenomenal. It's very, very, very easy to work, and it's very soft. And it produces a ton of splay. And it releases lather like none other. I love this. Again, I'm giving Craig a huge shout out and a massive thanks for sending me letting me buy the brush, right? Because he only did a few of them and I really wanted it in that black and orange. I said, please, Craig, let me get one of those. And I really love how that turned out. All right, let's jump in here. Let's talk a little bit about Valet. It's funny, if you Google Valet razors, right? Safety razors of old, the vintage ones. Our video from like a long time ago still populates, and I kind of laughed a little bit about that because it was definitely a learning process for me, and it's not my best video. And I go back and watch it, I'm like, oh, I could have done so many things so much better. But it's a learning journey, right? That's what we're here for, and that's why I like doing the channels. It's kind of grown, and I've become a little bit more comfortable in my own skin in front of the camera. And so as this has become like kind of a you know, experience here, I've really still loved these razors and use these razors on there often, but I get comments and questions about that early videos all the time. And so I'm really excited to do a more updated discussion on the VC series razors, produced between 1922 to 1946. So quite a while, right? And they started with like these very, they're complex steampunk type razors, but they operate very like, you know, like simple. And I like that because as cool as they look, right, as steampunk as they look, they're just slide a blade in, lock it into place and use it. And I think that style was very interesting for the time period, right? We were seeing a lot of SE razors with all these wedge blades, and I like that this had a replaceable version back in the day, right? The VC2 series that we'll be using today, right? It started with this one, and then it moved to this one, and this one has a loading plate you can open like this, and you can see here, you can open it, and then it rotate it back in and lock it down. And it had this roller bar on that series that allowed you to strop your blade, right? Yes, the blade got kind of more worn out. You could strop it. And that's really cool. I love the design. I think it's really unique. And it's a cool design. The other ones are the 3 and the 4, right? There was 4 variations and they look the same, if you can believe that. The only difference is one has an open comb and the other one does not. So if you see this variation, that's the latest variation they ever produced up to 1946. The one that's open comb that I do not own, I still have not purchased one, right? Uses the same mechanism. You can see the plate here, and instead of a clamping door mechanism, they use these little wings. You see those wings? And those wings lock in the blade. Now, I wanted to show this because you can see mine still has those little nubs. You see the little nubs on the plate there? The nubs are what lock in the blade that has this hole system, right? If it has that hole system on the FHS blades, that's what secures it on that plate. And the new OneBlade razors, they don't have that. And so people reached out to me and said, well, how do we make it work? Well, what happened is, and I'm going to show this again in the Subie hat cam loading cam, is when I load the razor, right, the actual blade will push through and goes through this bar. It's not safe to use without shimming it. So what I did is I just took a gem blade, removed the edge off of it, and shimmed it. That's all I did on this. You can see underneath here, I've shimmed it. And when you lock it down, well, what that shim is doing is it's actually lifting the blade ever slightly, and I'm putting pressure up into this bar here, so it doesn't slide backwards through the bar. So it's safe, right? It has securing, it's secure on the backside and on the 2 sides, so it's not going to wobble around on you. It is absolutely locked in, and that even allows me, and you can see here, I don't have that blade fully forward. I like the razor with these new blades a little bit adjusted backwards, and because there's no pins there, you're the one responsible for the exposure. And I actually really like that. It allows me to get a really comfortable smooth shave with the FHS razor or with the Valet razor without having to, you know, fiddle with the blade angle and anything like that because it's not super aggressive. And I love this. It's a very smooth razor in this generation. The old ones, and I just want to mention this again, start with the most blade fill, and then as they progress through the razors, the generations, they got less and less blade fill and less exposure. I find this exposure is very similar to the 4, and I really like it with the new high carbon blades. Let me show you why. And before we really start diving into this and continue through the shaves, I want to just call out and just kind of start talking a little bit about some life updates that I'm having. I've been kind of, unsure of discussing this on the channel. So for anybody out there that is, uncomfortable with, sensitive topics, I apologize. But I have recently, and I just want you guys to be informed. I want you to be part of this, right? You've been a part of my life on the channel for a lot of years now, and I wanted to be very clear with everybody on the channel that's sharing the shaves that I am actually going through some problems in my personal life. I woke up the other morning, probably since June. I woke up in June, and I just told my wife, I said, I don't feel good. I'm feeling kind of weird. I feel kind of off. And so I tried some different things, and I ended up going and having my heart tested. and I was at a 32 heart rate, which is not great. That's not where you want to be when you're walking upstairs and things. I ended up having some issues with arrhythmias, and they put me on some medicine and kind of have been going back and forth trying to regulate it with medicine. And in the end, that stopped my heart. I ended up having the VTech, unsustained VTech, and then they tried a different medicine that actually did stop my heart and caused me some problems. So they have now told me the only way forward is with surgery, and the surgery is going to put me out of commission for a little bit. And I just wanted to mention that because on channel, I mean, for the last 3 months, some of the only time I'm standing because of how sick I am is when I'm doing the videos with you. And I just want you to know how important you guys are to me. That is my commitment to the channel, right? And my effort level at with what we do here, and with why I just really enjoy it. And I wanted to make sure you guys knew that it is coming with a lot of effort and energy on my part. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate each and every one of you that have been here and have been going through the new shaves in the new space, right? I know it's been kind of a different space, and I've been in a different headspace because of this crazy thing that's going on with my heart. What they told me, and in layman's terms, because I'm not a doctor here, is that 70% of my blood is being pumped, but 30% of it's not being oxygenated. So if you imagine kind of getting like you're like in a headspace where you're not getting oxygen, your blood's not getting, for me, it makes me very dizzy. I actually have a hard time. I shake quite a bit now. I have a hard time standing. I get very dizzy and very uncomfortable and almost unresponsive at points, and I get very confused. And the confusion's not great for me while I'm doing stuff on channel, right? And neither is shaking. And I've tried to get in, and when I do my videos out with you here on channel, I try to edit it just a little bit so you guys don't quite see me doing this, right? But it does happen, and it's been kind of a struggle. And that's another reason I've been loving using dynamic razors or single edge razors like this one, because as I had to relearn how to shave with a shaking hand with an arrhythmia, right? It's taken me some effort and some learning, and dynamic razors take some of that away and allow me to apply a little bit more pressure, right? Like this, and still get a very, very comfortable shave. This SE razor for me is just such a good one. This VC2 is just so smooth, very comfortable. As you can see, it's flowing very nicely. 3 days of stubble is no match for this razor whatsoever. But for me, when you compare it to the FHS blades, the FHS blades start very, very, very harsh. I actually don't like the FHS blades in this razor, and I don't like them so much that I actually worked to make it so that the gem razors actually could fit in the razor. And I feel like this new high carbon razor with it shimmed so that it's not sliding around, and then the pressure downwards puts it at the OEM angle, really very much I would say is the perfect combination to make the razor smooth, comfortable, and very, very easy. The shave is just so close. Look at the BBS here. It is to the bone. No effort whatsoever. I love the razor with a slightly reduced exposure, right? And because of the way we're doing this, right, a little bit of Subie hacking, it is a smooth shave. It is comfortable. It is so easy to find the right angle with this razor. Against the grain angle with this, because of that triangular angle, I would say is really, really, really effective. And it's actually where I try to aim the razor the most of the time, right? I'll do a with the grain, and then I like to go against the grain, like with two passes, to really, really like maximize the performance of that razor. Oh my goodness, it's good. Take a look here. For everybody out there that's like, does it work with the OneBlade high carbon razor blades with the new chromium plating? It does. It does really, really, really nicely. Oh my goodness, what a shave. Very, very close, very, very comfortable. And I am just so thankful and thrilled to have had the chance to do it with you here on channel. On top of all of this stuff, so for everybody out there that is concerned, please don't be. I'm going into surgery in November, the start of November, and they've told me I won't be able to lift any more than about 3 or 4 pounds. Maximum is 5 pounds, right? And they really told me to stay away from doing that post surgery. So I'm going to be very limited to what I can do here. Probably going to be off air for a couple of days post surgery. But then I am actually expecting my first child, and I want to call that out as well. Right around the same time, we are hoping and keeping our fingers crossed, me and my wife, for around December. It's early December is the estimated time. We are very much hoping that's the date that stays. December 3rd is really what we're fingers crossed for our baby girl that is going to be coming. So we're really excited about that. So a lot of life changes. We have a surgery, and then right after the surgery, my wife goes in for having our kids. So it's going to be really cool. A lot going on, but I want you to know that I'm going to do my best to still be on air and still provide shaves, hacks, and discussions, comparisons, battles, because I love doing it. I love being here with everybody, and I wanted you to be in the loop, right? I didn't want you guys all saying, well, where did he go? What happened? You know, I hate when you're watching somebody on YouTube and all of a sudden there's like a really long pause and you're not really sure why. If that ends up happening, and I want you to all know, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent having a super long pause in between the shaves. But if that ends up happening, again, I am very sorry. And just keep in mind that I'm doing everything I can on the daily to make sure that you guys have content that's fun, that's enjoyable, and it's a little out there, right? It's a little different. I know it's not purist style, and I apologize for everybody out there. It's like, this isn't what I expected, and I apologize because this is who I am, this is who I've always been, and this is what I like doing, and I see no reason to change that, right? I love doing it with you here. And again, the shave, beautiful, BBS to the floor. That is a to the bone, absolutely like slick-tastic. Oh, shiny goodness. That is skin that radiates and just says, touch me. I love that. That's such an awesome shave with such a fun razor that's both vintage and, right, we had to kind of think through to make it work. All right, let's get out in here and let's see if it looks as good as if it feels as good as it looks. Oh man, that is beautiful. It's bourbony, it's boozy, it smells rich, it smells very gourmand. Makes me want breakfast again. Oh, thank you again for being here. This was phenomenal. I just wanted to mention that it does work. I have been getting good shaves with the VC2 series razor and the OneBlade high carbon blades, and it is possible if you shim and don't have the nubs. Again, I do not want to mention that it's going to work OEM, especially if you haven't had any of those plates like, you know, fiddled with. But if you have one where somebody has done that, or you want to do that, right, to incorporate your high carbon blades, that's the way it's going to happen and that's the way it's going to work. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to get out and enjoy an absolutely BBS perfect shave. And until I see you for our next one, Subes out.